Okay, we are live. I am Donald Butler, the CEO of Butler Square Consulting. And listen, I do these accounting roundtable discussions for all of you, my clients, those who are following us, because one of the main reasons is because I want to provide information that's going to be very helpful to you. You know, you can be in business, but one thing important is understanding how to operate in your business. And so this is what we're doing. We're teaching you how to manage your business finances even better, like taking what you're currently doing and let's upgrade. Let's take it to the next level. A lot of times we're trying to figure out how can we upgrade our finances in our business. Well, guess what? It starts in your personal finances. It starts in your personal finances. And that is one of the key points that we all can take away from this. That if I get my personal finances together, my business finances will definitely be okay. If, for example, if you don't have a budget with your personal finances, how would you be able to budget in your business? You know, it's one thing to rely on your accountant, and listen, that's what we're here for, to support you. But to really understand how a budget works, it always helps when it starts with your personal finances. So this is what we're going to do. I have a guest that understands personal finances even more and can break this down to you to help you make sense out of it all. But before I bring my guest on, I want you to understand something. I'm going to share my screen with you. And when I share my screen, I'm going to show you what I'm referring to concerning your finances for your business. So this is how powerful it is. I'm going to share with you a very powerful demonstration that will help you understand business. Okay. So this is a cash quadrant. Okay. So you have W-2 pays. Okay. So you have a W-2, you have information related to that W-2, like you're getting paid, taxes are coming out of that paycheck. So that's your W-2. Then you have your sole proprietor. Those of you that may be driving for companies like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, various things. Maybe you are, fitness instructor. You just have a small business. Now, how about on the right side of this quadrant? This is a business, okay? This is someone who has a business, an LLC, Inc., INC, or corporation, but this is a business. Then we also have investment, okay? So in our cash quadrant, when you take a look at this and you put together your finances in a way that you're like, I make money, how? As a W-2, as a sole proprietor. How can I benefit from taxes? Okay. There are different things here. Like, for example, if you have a house, you have mortgage interest. I'm going to abbreviate. You also have donations. So listen, this gets very limited because remember, at one time you could write off expenses related to your job, like uniforms. But since the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, you can't write off uniforms anymore. Like if you purchase it out of your own pocket, you can't write it off. So our tax situation on this left side becomes very limited in how much we can write off. Over here on the business side, we have many deductions under business, countless deductions. I can't even go into all the details. I can give you some examples. And when you have investments, there's also deductions there too. It just depends on the type of investment, how long you had the investment, if it's short term or long term. But I'm not going to get into all the details about short term and long term investments in this segment. We'll do that in another one. But for a business, if I can focus on business right now, your deductions are what lower your tax liability. The IRS allows you to write off those deductions to reduce your tax liability. But now, how do we figure out our deductions? Well, one thing for sure, the IRS has a definition. They have a definition that goes along with your expenses. And their definition, in other words, are your expenses a part of the normal course of your business? And also, are your deductions, something that is reasonable? So you have to think, is this reasonable? Is this ordinary business expense? Is this extravagant? These are the questions that the IRS has. So when we can answer those questions, we can determine which one of your expenses, what expenses you have that ultimately could lower your tax liability. I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, if you come to me to do your taxes and you say, Donald, I need you to do my taxes, and I have, all of my expenses laid out. I look at your taxes and I say, I think that there's more that you can write off because these deductions seem a little low, or they seem reasonable, but maybe you forgot something. Maybe there was something that you did not remember to include in your tax filing. This is when it's helpful to talk to somebody that is a tax expert or a tax strategist, someone that's going to help you strategize to lower your tax liability. So that's very key. So your deductions, we have to evaluate your deductions, okay? So we have to figure out, what are you spending in your personal finances that you should have written off as a business deduction? Okay. So part of what we need to do is do an analysis to understand, what are you spending at a personal level so it can shift over into business, to shift over into your business deductions, because this is where you're going to lower your tax bill. So when the IRS, if they chose your file, you need to be prepared. You need to have documentation to prove that you've encountered or that you spent that money in something that qualifies as a deduction for the business. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to bring on my guest because he is an expert in this area, and I want you all to take notes and be prepared to get your personal finances in order. His name is Cliff Stafford, and he is the owner. Listen, I'm going to let him introduce himself because some of y'all seen him before, but I'm going to let him tell you exactly who he is, the name of his business, and we're going to go from there. So Cliff, welcome, sir. How are you today?
All is well, Donald. Thanks for having me. I'm extremely honored, sir.
Absolutely. So Cliff, tell us about yourself and the name of your business. What do you all do?
Okay. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here with you all, and I hope that something that I offer is a blessing to you. My name is Clifton Stafford. I am the CEO of Count the Cost LLC. My wife, Shaniqua Stafford, is the COO of Count the Cost LLC. And we basically help families enjoy budgeting, right? We help families enjoy budgeting. And one thing that we speak big on is the importance of leading a legacy. The importance of leading a legacy. You have heard the term before. I want to leave a legacy. But when we think about it, as we're here living, breathing, and existing, we actually have the responsibility of leading a legacy. So we offer 3 layers. We offer financial coaching, financial consulting, and financial training.
That's good. So financial coaching. Tell us a little bit more about what that looks like. You have a client that comes to you about financial coaching. Give us a little, example of how clients benefit from your financial coaching.
Okay, sure. It's just like when you think about it when it comes to sports. When you think about a coach, that coach stands on the sideline, but he presents all of their strategies to the team to make sure that they're able to execute. And we do the very same thing, but we do it from a financial standpoint. We connect with you. We map out your entire situation. You tell us where you are financially, and then we collectively together, we strategize and we figure out what needs to be done for you to ultimately win as it pertains to your legacy. So not just at your level, but we're talking about generations after you.
Absolutely. So listen, Count the Cost is an amazing company. When you're thinking about personal finances, one of the things that I would even include in what you just said is having a budget, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
you know, Tell us a little bit more about the importance of having a budget. Like, what is the foundation of that? Like, I just think that, it's not talked about enough.
I agree with you. And when you think about the term budget, right, we got to play with the terms. Let's look at what a budget is. It's basically an estimate of income and expenses for a set period of time. That's what it's defined as, an estimate of income and expenses for a set period of time. So what we're talking about when it comes to a budget, that is a blueprint. It's a game plan for your finances. And so whether we're talking about personal finances or business finances, the reality is we have to have a created and established game plan where we can document what we want to go, where we want to go, what we want to do, and how we want to execute that. A lot of times when we think of the term budgeting, we hear that term, a lot of people cringe. But in reality, a budget is actually a way for you to have fun with your money.
People would think that that's crazy. Like, have fun with your money with a budget. That seems very restrictive. And, but ultimately, of course, I agree with you. But these are just some key principles that you can take away from. So when you have a budget,
Mhm.
let's think statistics for a moment.
Okay.
How many, individuals, like percentage wise, that we can say, let's just say like a percentage of people that live in Maryland
Okay.
that we could assume that actually have a personal budget in their household. What would you think that percentage would look like?
Whew, that's a great question. I will probably say about 45%.
You would say 45% actually have a budget.
Yes.
That's awesome. Like, I mean, that's not bad at all. Then that tells us right there that even with 45%,
Hmm.
a lot of those people, a percentage of those people have a business.
Right.
So they will understand what a budget is for their business.
Sure.
And so really that transition into, well, let me make sure that I take these same principles of budgeting my personal finances and budget my business finances as well.
Yes.
And someone could say, well, who is responsible for budgeting the business finances? There's none other than the CEO,
Correct.
because you already know what your expenses are going to look like. Now, when you have a big company like Amazon or, you know, uh, I mean, you name them, Macy's, T-Mobile, when you have a big company, then you have your finance department that does that. You don't have to focus on creating a budget. But when you're a small business owner, you are wearing the hats of multiple people. And
Sure.
ultimately, once somebody gets to know the business, like us, me being an accountant, my team, we get to know what your expenses are like. We can help you to focus on creating that budget and making sure, oh, don't forget that you have this monthly payment that comes out each month, but
Mhm.
it goes back to your personal finances as well. So,
Yes.
Cliff, how do you see that, when you're dealing with your clients in terms of speaking to the fact of budgeting, but also keeping track with spending? Because in business, we have software like QuickBooks. What would you say to that person that says, well, isn't that a bit much? Or how can I get that done in terms of keeping track with with where I'm spending my money? Do people still do that?
That's a great question. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people spend but don't actually track what they're spending. So what I mean by that is, for instance, someone may say, "Wow, I've heard of budgeting, but I haven't officially done budgeting." Does that make sense? So for instance, they
It
will
does.
receive their paycheck, they know they have to pay their bills, so forth and so on. So they just pay the bills. But actually writing down those bills and what's due and so forth and so on, that we have seen that happens maybe 30% of the time. So then we have to sit down and strategically just have them literally write out every expense. And then we create a game plan on a monthly basis to say, hey, this is how you handle it each month. And then we break it down further. This is how you handle it each week. And therefore, that causes them to feel relief because now they can see the whole picture and realize this can actually be done. And realize in most cases, they actually give themselves a raise Because when you write things down, you can literally see moment by moment and day by day what you're actually kicking out on a weekly and monthly basis.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a demonstration real quick because people like examples, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give an example here. Let me go to my whiteboard and scroll over a little bit. So let's say we had. Let's start with July 4th.
Okay.
Okay. So July 4th, we were paid. So we had income that came into our account. And what was that income? It was, we can say, well, I had $2,000 that showed up in my bank account from my job or from somewhere.
Okay.
And then we hung out on the 4th and we went to the grocery store. We grabbed some food so we can then, do a little cookout. So now we need to include a supermarket. So we'll say supermarket. We spent $79 at the supermarket. And then we come into the next day. Maybe we skip the 5th, and maybe on the 6th of July, we now spent on Amazon. We got Amazon shoppers. We get caught up on Amazon, and we spent enough. We spent maybe, let's say, $300 on Amazon. Well, we don't get paid again till the latter part of the month, like on maybe the 15th of the month or maybe the 20th of the month. But even still, each time we have added money in, we've taken money out. So what happens is we have a running total on the right side of this. So we'll have 2,000. And what happened? We have $79 that came out of our bank account because we spent it at the supermarket. So we'll take 2,000 minus $79 and we'll end up with $1,921. Now we have $300 that we spent at Amazon. So we're down to $1,621.
Yep.
Somebody could say this is very tedious, but this will be considered a ledger, or this would be considered a check register, for example. See, back in the day, you had grandma and grandpa going to the store and they would have their check register. And when they went there and they went to the supermarket, they would write it down in a ledger. I just spent, and it takes a little longer. Now we want things so quick. We have our cards, our bank cards, and you go into the store, you don't have your ledger with you anymore.
Right.
So what happens? This practice have gone out of the door. We don't have this anymore. Many people don't do this type of financing or maintaining order in their finances. So what happens is we look at this from a tax perspective. So now we doing this from a tax perspective. What are we doing? When that money shows up, we have a ledger that we are keeping track with the income, the purchases that you made, and the running balances. So accounting still goes along the lines of keeping track with every dollar, every penny. I used to work at the bank for like almost 10 years, and I don't want to tell, everybody my age, but, but it was a long time ago. But this is something that we would tell our customers is that you keep track of your finances, then that will help you to make sure you don't overdraft or you don't overdraw on your finances. So how am I going to keep track with it? Also, this is a good way to catch fraud, because what if you didn't spend this $300?
Yep.
Then we need to contact the bank immediately. Let me use red here.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, there you go.
We need to contact the bank because we didn't do this charge. This is a red flag. But if we don't check out our spending, if we don't look at the account often, then we can lose track of these expenditures. Same thing for accounting. So Your thoughts, Cliff? What you think about this?
I
Should we
mean,
bring back the check register for your personal finances?
I think that you made a really good point when it comes to tracking and also looking at your day to day. A lot of cases where, and I'm sure you probably saw this at the bank, a lot of times people will come and say, I don't understand how my account overdrafted. It was just $30 yesterday. Well, they don't take into account the fact that some things were pending, and when you checked your account, it actually hadn't processed. It was still pending. And so, again, as you said, that's why it's so important when it comes to a budget, because it shows you before the week even or before the month even begins, you know exactly what is expected to be processed through your bank account.
Absolutely. That's so important. And again, who is actually doing this on a daily basis? I don't think a lot of people are doing this. So what happens is your accountant, Butler Square Consulting, we're doing this in the background for our clients in their books. Why? Because again, this takes time. This takes effort to go through every transaction and assign a category to it. Because say like, for example, for accounting purposes, when you file your taxes, we can't just say you went to the supermarket. We can't just say that you spent money at Amazon. We actually have to give it a category. So I'll give you an example. So if we take this, move this aside for a second, and we look at our spend, what comes into the account. So then we have revenue that came into the account, and we can say 7.5, and that revenue maybe was sales. We have a bakery, for example, and we made $300. For some reason, I like in $300. I don't know why.
It works.
7.6, we have expenses that came through. Maybe, for example, you went to Exxon. If I can just spell it. You went to Exxon and you spent money in gas. And so that was $70 that you took out. Also, you made another sale. So 7.7, because business owner, they can make sales at any time, so maybe you made sales again. You sold something and you made let's say $2,100. What's happening here? Each one of these transactions have to be categorized into some kind of bucket. So sales would indeed be, so I'm going to make a category. We have to categorize sales as, we can say sales. We can be more specific depending on the type of sales. For Exxon, this would be gas. And then we had another sales. Maybe specifically you want to call this something else. Maybe book sales. Maybe you have a book and you want to be very specific about that book sale. So here you are. Now you're understanding we have to have a category for each transaction. So as accountants, we have to go over and beyond. But again, going back to Cliff and what his company does, we see this, from a standpoint of when your personal does not have this kind of structure, you wouldn't understand from a business standpoint why that the IRS is looking for something like this. So we're teaching, individuals that are new to business, especially, why it's important to have detailed and accurate records. Because if the IRS asks you for it, you want to be able to provide it and say, this is what I've done. I've tracked my books, and I maintain, order regarding my finances. If there is an order in your finances and your business finances, the IRS calls that weak internal controls. Weak internal controls. So that's something just to take note of, because the IRS will hold you accountable for weak internal controls. And what does that mean? They'll get rid of all your deductions. All your deductions are gone. So what Cliff does, he's looking at your personal finances to make sure that you're keeping things in order, that you have some level of structure in your personal finances. And Cliff, just from your perspective, you want to do a podcast show. What are some topics that you would cover, with a lot of your client base or people that's listening to your podcast, what exactly, how does it look from your podcast perspective, teaching people how to do this?
Sure. So we cover a plethora of areas, and we try to really think outside of the box and tap into some areas that people may not think of. For instance, we talk about the money mindset. We talk about marriage and money, right? Because if you're married, money has to be something that's on one accord. If you're single, how do you handle your finances if you're the only accountable person to yourself? So we talk about that. We talk about what strategies on how to use what you have to get what you want, right? We talk about other ways that we can benefit from increasing our streams of income, side hustles. We talk about ways to um, partner with other persons that may have more assets than you. The importance of partnership, the importance of networking. We talk about it's just a plethora of the importance of family structure, because believe it or not, your family structure can also speak to where you are financially. For instance, the psychology of money. You may have seen something at a younger age that has impacted you at your adult age, right?
Wow.
It's just so many. When you talk about finances, there's a psychology component to it. There's so many other areas outside of just thinking of money itself as the dollar bill. We talk about
Very true.
inflation. We talk about recession. What things to do to plan. If you lose a job, how do you navigate financially? So, there's a plethora of things that we discuss on the Kingdom Blueprint podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so needed. When you think of finances, when you think of even people, business owners still have personal finances. They
Yes.
still have personal expenses. And some of those expenses, like I said, can maybe translate to business expenses, but it goes back to just making sure to track everything that you're spending and making sure to identify what is the need behind it. Because as you mentioned, Cliff, and I love that what you all are doing, you and your beautiful wife, you two are doing phenomenal work as
Sure.
far as the area of finances. And we're just thankful to be connected to both of you all. And so thank you so much for even coming on here with me. I'm honored. I'm like, I have Cliff Stafford join me. This is awesome. Count the cost. But this is how this works, right? So a lot of times when we think about our personal finance, we are the CEO, the CFO of our household finances.
Correct.
We are, you're the CEO, you're the CFO of your personal finances.
Correct.
So whenever you're thinking of, does this matter? Absolutely, it does matter. And that's the foundation. When you get into the psychology of it, Cliff, people's emotions, it deals with how they spend their money. If you could reduce your expenses, your personal expenses, to save more, to put more away for investments to later in life, it helps tremendously. But a lot of times, like I said, it's like an attachment,
Sure.
to some way that you see money. And I think, Cliff, that one thing that I like to even share, and I love to get your perspective on it, is we call it normalizing things, normalizing finance discussions,
Mhm.
normalizing the talk about finances around the dinner table, around breakfast, whatever you do to spend time with your family, or even if you're single, that you spend time with yourself talking about finances,
I
talking about it.
I agree. It should really be the new norm, especially in the day and age that we're living in today. Finances should be a priority when we really think about it, because it affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
statistics show that.
everything.
It says that 57% of Americans believe that they are financially literate, right? But 44% of persons believe that their financial state will not be in a good place in a year from now.
Wow.
So just think about that. To have a mindset to think that a year from now my finances won't be in a good place, well, we have to change the trajectory of that mindset.
Absolutely. We got to change the trajectory of that mindset. And how would, like, if you said this is how you go about changing it, what would be your strategy to changing it?
That's a great question. I think the first key component of it is to literally dissect what your thoughts are about money. Are your
Wow.
thoughts positive about money, or are your thoughts negative? So it's really an evaluational stage that we have to really approach, because
You
then what?
know, I'm going to hold on right there.
Okay.
Because I think that's why people don't want to file their taxes.
Right.
They're like, I don't want to file it. I don't want to make that filing. So it goes years and years without being filed because people are afraid of keep seeing that they owe money in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to point that out to you because that's right on point.
Wow, man. And to see it on that end is, I'm sure, a plethora of things that have come to your mind and you have experienced when you really think about that. But yeah, evaluate. That's the hardest thing to do at any
It
stage.
is.
And we really think about it, to really say, you know what, I'm good at this or I'm bad at this. Like, to really approach that. But in actuality, that's really how you find the place of victory when it comes to your finances. Because when we approach something head on, we say, okay, this is where I am, but let's move from here. And that's one thing that we really attack, especially when it comes to really helping families enjoy budgeting again. Because not only do we kind of deal with those wounds, but then we down move into the healing aspect of it, because we realize, hey, I jacked this up. Now, how do we fix it?
Yeah, that's true. A lot of times we don't really want to come to, face those terms that we jacked it up. I find that there's certain people, certain types of people that don't mind saying, look, I jacked it up. I need help. And listen, if you're that kind of person, we welcome you. Okay. We love working with people that say I jacked it up. Or even if you're afraid to say that, we love working with you. And so we will help you to get things together. I call that the cleanup process, right? Clean it up. Let's get it together. Let's put things in order. Let's make sure that you have things in order for your personal finances. But that is very key. Give me another point that you all would, how you would deal with that transition, or how you would deal with that challenge that people have with facing, issues in their finances in that regard.
I think the thing about it is to really, and we push this a lot, to let the process be the process. Understand that, yes, there is some things you have to kind of navigate through, but as you allow the process to be the process, not only do you come discover new things about yourself, your finances, and things of that sort, but now you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So when you think about finances as a whole, it's a process. There are different stages. There are good, the bad, the ugly. There are times where you feel motivated, and there are times where you not feel motivated. But letting the process be the process will help you when you hit those hard places.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I find that's very interesting, because to your point, you got people that are in debt, when it's easy to say, but it's another thing when people actually have to face dealing with, maybe they don't have enough money in their finances to pay their bills.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, they take they withdraw. It's like being disconnected from your finances. And again, it shows up in business and your business as well. So if you're disconnected from your finances and you're disconnected from, your business, it will show up and cause, challenges overall. But have you, like, maybe give an example, Cliff, of how you helped revive somebody, brought them back to life, like resuscitated them and helped them to get focus again. Like, let's get excited about dealing with your finances again, so you can be able to win in this area.
Sure. So we actually had a client that we were working with. When they came to us, they were excited about, they just needed help. And they were like, okay, I'm excited about this. But one thing I do know is that I just need help. And that's the key component of it. Just knowing that you want to partner with somebody. And that's what we do. We're about connecting and partnering with you. We're not about dictating to you this, that, and the other. But we joined forces with her, and we assisted her by letting her know, for one, what you have done, it can be rectified, right? What you've already done, it can be rectified. So from that standpoint, we worked with her on a weekly basis for 2 months, eight weeks. In those 8 weeks, she paid off bills. She saved $1,000. And then from that standpoint, she was able to then go out and purchase a vehicle. Simply what
Mhm.
we did in 2 months, she was able to do all of that just because she was willing to put forth the effort, but then also be accountable.
Wow. That is good. It's just all about helping people to like balance things out, right? It's all about just, sometimes it just takes a team. I tell people, you need a team around you to help you to get to your goal. When you're running a race, if you're running a marathon, if you're, um, anything that you're pursuing, a lot of times it is so ideal to have a running mate or someone that runs with you and supports you. And that's what we're here for. Cliff and his wife, they help clients to get on track. They're supporting the clients. They're there through thick and thin, like literally, like helping you come back, to life and say, you know what, I can do this. And we're doing the same thing with business. So Butler Square Consulting is doing the same thing with business. It's like if you thought that for 1 minute that your business, how am I going to pay these bills? How am I going to get to the next level? How am I going to grow my business? We're talking about strategies to helping you do that. So whenever you have the team around you, you have a winning team that's going to support you to get to those goals. That is so important. And listen, I talk to all of my clients like that. When I'm dealing with my clients, I let you know, like, look, let us, yeah, we screwed up in the past. There's nothing I can do about the past. But now let's focus on bringing in enough revenue that's going to cover every single bill that you have in place. Let's make more money so we can pay all of these bills off. Whatever bills that may be bothering you, whether it's the IRS or whether it's your mortgage or whatever it is, that we conquer those things, those mountains, that we actually conquer them by staying focused, in our business, staying focused in what we're doing, and we can accomplish what we're trying to get accomplished because we have a goal, we have goals, we have a team, and we're going to help you get there. So key,
I gotta
Cliff.
add this, Donald. I'm sorry, man. I gotta give
No,
you your
you're good.
I gotta give you your flowers, man. One thing for sure, you, Alberta, and the entire Butler Square team. I mean, we're not just saying this. If you're listening and you have never even heard about Butler Square, I'm telling you, they are on point. They are like family. So whenever you join forces with Butler Square, I'm just saying this. Knowing Donald personally and knowing his willingness and his heart to serve others, it's a true testament. He has. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but just letting you know that if you are watching this, by all means, connect with Butler Square. If you need any questions, any accounting, taxes, all of that, I'm telling you, one stop shop. I just had to throw it out there. I'm telling you, man, because you all
Man,
have
I
done this
appreciate you.
tremendously.
I appreciate you. That's the thing. It's good when business owners can get together. We're brothers for real.
Yep.
Like this is literally coming together with each other to support a cause. What are we supporting? We're supporting people. We're supporting our clients. We're giving information to people to help you to get better. And the thing is, I can't stay where I am. I have to think about how can I get better? How can I grow? How can I accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish? Because yes, things happen. It's just the nature of how things work. Let's take for example student loan debt. We know student loan debt is something that people are dealing with,
Yep.
but you have a business. If you depending on your business structure, see, I'm gonna add a little nugget in here
Yes,
for people. Listen really clear, my business owners. So listen really clear,
sir.
my business owners. If you are an employee of your own business, example, you are a S corp corporation. If you are an S corp, you can write off a portion of your student loan payment this year. You can write it off on your business taxes. It is now a deduction. So instead of trying to write off the interest, you have a business, you can write it off under your business. And you will look so happy because now you've paid that expense through your business
Mm,
instead of going into your personal pocket trying to figure out how can I make sure that that I make this payment. How can I make this payment?
mm,
So there's strategies. The government helps businesses. Remember, I told you when we look at the cash quadrant, when we look at that cash quadrant, the IRS, the government, gives you benefits, and those benefits are very like it's a lot of them, a lot of deductions that we can focus on. So that's one thing that we can see, that you can make money, or you can leverage these deductions. So I'm highlighting this here. You can leverage deductions over here and include your student loan debt, your student loan payment. Very powerful.
Mm.
All employees of business, your business can write it off. I think that's very powerful. That right there is very powerful for an individual that says, I'm a W-2. How can I write off my student loan debt? If you have a business, your business doing good. Some of you are real estate agents. Some of you are real estate investors. Some of you have, major businesses where you have a trucking business and you're bringing in some significant money and you're trying to figure out, how can I reduce my tax bill? This is one way to reduce your tax bill. Pay the student loan debt through your business and write it off. Now, listen, you have to contact me as your tax professional to get specific guidance around this. So don't just go and just paying student loan bills and you did not seek professional advice. I'm just sharing with you, and that's my disclaimer. I'm just sharing with you the basics, but you have to sit down and talk to your professional, or if you do your taxes yourself, you need to look it up, but don't just write off student loan payments just because, if you did not, do your research. You have to be an employee. You have to be a W-2 under your business. Okay? You have to be a W-2 under your business. Well, how am I a W-2? How can I be a W-2? Well, do you run payroll through ADP? Do you run payroll? How do you run payroll for yourself? So you have to make sure that you are a W-2 under your business. So that's my disclaimer. Do not just write this off just because I told you that. You also have to get knowledge to understand how to do this. Okay. So
That was golden, Donald. That was a golden nugget. Seriously. I mean, when you really think about it, and I'm not the tax professional, but when you really think about the way that things are orchestrated for us that operate and function businesses, I mean, it's unlimited as to what we can do when we do it the right way.
Unlimited. And that's the thing. It's so important. It's unlimited. You can do so many things. And again, what you do in your personal reflects in your business. That is the purpose of this discussion today, having Cliff on here to talk about the personal finance. Now, Cliff, do you all have anything coming up soon? Or what other things that you'd like to cover specifically around personal finance? Because I know you all are doing some amazing things.
Thank you, sir. We are releasing a new course called Legacy Financial Fitness. That's set to launch August 1st. And it's a 21-day challenge, basically. It's a 21-day curriculum where each day you will receive a video, and that video will speak to multiple different things. The mindset, it will speak to expenses, short-term, long-term expenses. It will speak to budgeting, credit monitoring. It speaks to a plethora of different areas when it comes to finances. And so again, that's going to be Legacy Financial Fitness is the name of that course, and it's going to be under the umbrella Legacy Institute. We're big on legacy.
Nice. Hold on. So Legacy where I mean, I need balloons, I need celebration. Listen, congratulations. You all are doing, I told you, listen, the listeners that are listening here today, Facebook, YouTube, you all are getting it first, I think, about this Legacy Institute.
Yep.
And I'm so super proud of you all. So now I mean, like my aunt would tell me, y'all doing the doggone thing. My aunt would tell me that. I love my aunt.
Right.
I had to say that because when family say stuff,
Yeah,
you gotta laugh about it. And
yeah.
my aunt would tell me that, so I had to share that with you. That means you're doing something. You're doing something.
I respect
Congratulations.
that. Thank you.
So institute. So apparently you're gonna have more courses that's coming out of this, right?
Yes, we're going to have. This is just the first course, but we're going to launch all different type of courses just to really help people when it comes to their legacy, when it comes to really forming and because we all creative beings when you think about it. So there are going to be so many things we're going to be talking about. Innovation. I mean, it's endless.
Endless. That's awesome, man. I'm super proud of you all.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts? Anything that you want to leave our clients, our audience? Anything that comes to mind that you just like talk to that individual that says, you know what, I need to get serious in my finances, my personal finances. Where should I begin? How can I, how can I work with my spouse? Give us some, some of your final thoughts or your final words and encouragement around that.
Sure. I think the first thing is just keep moving. Wherever you are, whatever you have done, the reality is today is a new day. And so, with today being a new day, just keep moving forward. So, you may say, okay, I hear you all talking about budgeting, structure, things of that sort. What do I need to do? The first thing I would encourage you to do is just write down things. Write down your monthly income and then break it down and write down every expense of the month. That's the first thing. Just start there. And when you begin to see things on that sheet of paper, or whether it's in your phone or in your computer, you will begin to realize that there is actually hope for me now because I have taken the first action. So, again, wherever you are, just keep moving. Understand that when it comes to finances, this is a process. And so they're going to be good, bad, and ugly times. But the reality is, if you're breathing, if you're living, you can conquer finances.
Absolutely. Anybody. I mean, you need a team. You literally need a team to do it. And Cliff, I definitely appreciate you for sharing some great information today. And I'm looking forward to getting the responses back
All right.
and the feedback from this particular segment. And listen, I put your information down there. The costllc.com is the website. And also, if you want to reach Cliff, share with us your phone number.
Yes, that's 410-600-3429. You can text us, you can call us. If you leave us a voicemail, please give us 24 to 48 hours to return. If you indeed text us, we can respond immediately.
Awesome, awesome. I'm super excited. Cliff, thank you so much, sir. Hang on in the back, on backstage for me. I would love to catch up with you. It's been great, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donald, and thank you all, everyone, for checking us out tonight or today, rather.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, so listen, we got a few announcements. I got to tell you guys, we have a number of great things that's coming up. We are doing a client appreciation dinner for our clients. This is our second event, our second appreciation dinner that we're having. I think most people that were there or everyone that was at the first one would say, you gotta go this time. If you missed it the first time, you gotta join us this time. The tickets are available on our website. On our website, butlersquare.com, you will see the tickets on our website. Go under events. Go under events, get your ticket. And we're going to be in Columbia, Maryland at the Meriwether Lake House Hotel. So it's going to be a great event. We have an artist that will be singing as well as a live band. It's going to be awesome, awesome, awesome event with some great food and just great networking. The networking piece is the most powerful part of coming together with other business owners. It's going to be real estate investors. It's going to be realtors. It's going to be people that's in the trucking industry, people that's in a behavioral health industry, the nonprofit industry. You don't want to miss this event. This is an event that you got to connect with. You got to be a part of this networking event. And we're super excited for what we are doing. Now, and also, let me just share with you some great news. So listen, we also started an academy. So Butler's Great Academy, which is also on butlersgreat.com. If you go to the website, you'll see Academy in the header as an option to click on. So we are teaching various courses like project management professionals. So if you're looking to get certified and you're like, I'm trying to get certified in project management, we teach that course, Project Management Professional Certification. There are other certification courses that we will be teaching on that platform as well. And you don't want to miss it. Why? Because we have joined a major company as a partner. Yes, we are on a platform with a major company as a partner. This company is global. So we are on a global platform. We are so thankful to be a part of this global platform to offer the training, and it's going to be phenomenal. And we're offering 3 or 4 certification courses. I mean, listen, it gets big. It gets big. So we're super excited about that. We also have QuickBooks training that will be coming out as well for all of my business owners out there that's looking to get into business. You're going to want to look at QuickBooks. Like if you don't have QuickBooks, you need QuickBooks. And as a matter of fact, if you want to get QuickBooks, if you don't use our services, but you definitely want to sign up for QuickBooks, click on the link. You'll see there a discount code that you can sign up with QuickBooks and get a percentage of the pricing removed, so you can get the sale price. And I think it's 30% off. You can get 30% off if you use our link here, and you will get that discounted price, which I think is phenomenal because ultimately you can write this off on your taxes. So think of it like this. If I invest in my business, I'm actually investing in myself. And if I invest in myself, what happens? I get the best tax deductions, the best tax situation possible. Okay. So it's all about strategy. It's all about, figuring things out just to make sure you have things in place for your business. Also, listen, I'm also doing I've done financial literacy for young people, and this took place last week. And the very thing that came up was discipline and investing in yourself. And so all of the students that were a part of the financial seminar or workshop that I did with them, they were 13 to 18, 19 years old. Those young people just took it all in, and they were motivated by what? By how to make money. How to make money. Because if you have a 13-year-old in a room, how are you going to tell them how to make money if they can't go out and get a job? So just talking with them, laying the seed, helping them to strategize and understand how to make money. And also how to save that money. What are we saving for? How can we save for this event or this purchase that we're trying to make? So we really made it where it's very strategic, very targeted, where they can understand it. So I'm super excited about those young people because we have to, like we talked about with Cliff earlier, we have to normalize the discussion around finances. We have to normalize it. We have to bring it to the forefront. We got to talk to our children about it. One important thing that I found that was very interesting out of this group of young people, one of them said that their parents was talking about buying that child a house to use as an investment property while this child was going to college. Yes, using an investment property and have it in the child's name so that this child can make money. And I'm saying the child is 18. So they're 18 years old, helping them get their first property to make income while they're in college. While they're in college. And I thought, wow, you all talk about finances in your household. And that child said, yes, we talk about finances. So this is amazing. We need to make talking about finances normal, like normalize it. We talk about normalizing everything else, but we need to normalize talking about finances. So we're super excited about the things that are happening for these young people, but I really believe that it's going to trickle down to other folks, other generations. The conversations is going to keep going. So we got to have Cliff to come back one day because we got to normalize talking about finances. No matter what fears are there, no matter what hurt is there, or whatever that your relationship with money has been, you can conquer it. You have to conquer it. To win in business, you have to conquer it. Why? Because when you're in business, you may have people to pay. You may have other bills. That's how you operate. That's how you stay in business, because we're paying somebody. We have outsourced this service. I can't do everything. So your relationship with money shows up in your business as well. So you have to have goals in place, and you have to have strategies in place. But having a team is so necessary and so needed. So this is something that Butler Squared is doing. We're helping our clients to put things in place. So I'm hoping that all of my clients listen. I hope all of my clients are listening in to these roundtable discussions. This is like sitting down with your accountant and talking, like having dialogue with your accountant. Very key, very important. And listen, so we have our event coming up October 21st. So check out our website. It's on our event page, the Client Appreciation Dinner. Get your tickets ASAP, because we're going to be sold out. Get your tickets ASAP, as soon as possible. We also have our Butler Squared Academy that is launching our courses. You'll see that. And so we're super excited about it. We're celebrating about it. And it's going to be a phenomenal opportunity for you to understand how to get certified in whatever field that you're working in. Also, QuickBooks, get certified in QuickBooks. What we're teaching is going to help you to get certified in QuickBooks. Those of you that want to be certified, but also business owners who say, I just want to learn how to use it. This is a course for you. You can definitely learn QuickBooks in here. Also, we're going to do a tax course. So the tax course is going to help you understand the basics of taxes. You can choose to do your own taxes if you want, but we can break down some goods and some bads about using TurboTax and using some of these other softwares when you don't have the skill set to understand taxes, because you ultimately still need to have a tax background if you're going to hit submit. The minute you hit submit and it goes to the IRS, it goes to your state, you don't even know what you just submitted, besides the fact that I know I get a refund. What did I just submit? Or, maybe you owe taxes. I don't know taxes that well, so I'm not sure how, what this looks like. But that's where the professional comes in. We will set up appointments with you, consult with you, and help you to make sure that you're hitting, that you're submitting your taxes appropriately. So these are some things that we're doing. We're excited about it. And I welcome you to our accountant roundtable discussion. We do this every other week, and we're going to increase it to every week at least, because there's always something we can talk about. There's always new things that the IRS is doing, that the states are doing, so that you can be fully aware of what your tax implications look like, okay? In addition to this, you all know I teach for University of Maryland Global Campus. I teach accounting, so I am a professor, but also a CEO of my businesses, and I'm so thankful for my family because they support me. But I'm super excited about your next level through what we're doing. Through what we're doing is to help you. We want to make sure you're getting exactly what you need. So stay tuned. Come back for the next one. Check out our old videos, the ones that we've already put out there. Love for you to meet the team, and we're going to have the team come on again in another segment. So definitely looking forward to that. And with that, I'm going to close, and you all have a great